Hi guys, welcome to my new series of videos called Let's Explain. These are going to be a series of videos doing a basic rundown of all the aspects of vaping. And in part 1, we're going to be talking about batteries. So back in the olden days, when us old duffers first started vaping, the main batteries was these three. You had your 18350, your 18500, and of course the very familiar 18650. The way these batteries are labelled is 18350 stands for 18mm in diameter, 35mm in height, and the 0 denotes the cylindrical battery shape. So looking at the 18500, that is 18mm in diameter, 50mm in height, and 0 for the cylindrical battery. And the same goes for the 18650. And let's start with the 18350. This is a Rewrap by eFest. Quite a well-known battery company. Did a lot of rewrapping. Not really to be trusted, because some of the labels was over accentuated with their limits, but it is what it is. This is a 700 mAh, 3.7 volt lithium ion, and it has a 10.5 amp limit. But never go off what the label says. If you're unsure about what a battery is or the limits, then refer over to Battery Mooch. He's got his own YouTube channel now, which makes things a lot easier, and I'll link that in the description. So I personally never went off the limit of the wrap. I always went with Battery Mooch's limits, and that's kept me safe all this time. Now the 18350 is pretty much an obsolete battery now. Not a lot of people use them. They're still good for the old mech mods because you made them really small, but you was limited to your builds. I mean, 10 amps. It was risky to sub ohm with this battery. We always used to stay above 1 ohm roughly to keep the batteries safe. That's where it was back in the day. Then you had your 18500, which are also obsolete now. And this says 15 amps, but I'd say it's more close to 10 amps. And it's the same sort of deal with this. You kept it above 1 ohm, which is where everyone was back in the day anyway. Very rarely went sub-ohm. The sub-ohm was classed as out there and a bit yumpy. So it took me a long while to get down to under 1 ohm. I stayed above that really, using these batteries. And the reason why these was most popular above the 18650 is these made the mech mods which we was using back in the day. The majority of people was using mech mods with these, and it made your mech mod smaller. And along the line came the 26650. Now this one was mainly adapted for the battery life, because it did have a decent runtime on it. But these failed inevitably because the battery sag on these was atrocious. A lot of the DNA 75s when they first came out was using this battery, and they suffered a lot from weak battery issues due to the fact of the battery sag on these batteries is really bad, and they just didn't quite take off. They're still used today. Not very often. Some mods still use them, but not one of the best batteries out there. And you also had these, which are 14500 batteries. And these was mainly used for smaller mech mods. I mainly use it in this, which is a Nemi, and it's a really small, really small mech mod, and this battery is for this. But again, this wasn't widely used. It was a niche market really. 700 mAh at a 1 ohm coil, probably lasted about 3 or 4 hours before it started to die off, and that wasn't that great. So, and now of course we have these 2700 batteries, along with the 21700, and also there's a 20650 battery. Not a 26650, but a 20650 battery. And these are the next generation of batteries. This is a Rewrapped eFest 2700 battery, but the eFests are the iJoy 5-prong anyway, so not a bad battery. These are being adapted a lot lately, especially with mech squonkers and mechanical mods. They're starting to take off. Now you can run these batteries in either parallel mode or series mode when you're going on the dual battery route. Now parallel mode means side by side, like so. And then what you're doing is you're keeping the voltage the same at 4.2 volts, but you're doubling the ampage. So if these batteries are 20 amp batteries, then you're roughly getting around 40 amps on your limit from using the two batteries together. And you can also run them in series or stacked, as we used to call it, where they're like so. And then what you're doing is you're doubling the voltage, so it's 8.4 volts, but you're roughly keeping the ampage the same. So 20 amp limit is roughly going to be the same limit. But because you're running it in stack mode or series mode, you can get away with higher ohm builds. So I normally run a series mech or series box at around 0.5 ohms, 0.6 ohms, and you get a really good saturated warm vape. Now there is a lot of stigma attached to these batteries, which puts a lot of people off from using them, especially in mech mods, and I think that's a shame, because mech mods are a very nice way of vaping, and you get a really good vape off them. So I want to encourage people just to have a go and not be scared of the batteries, but just be safe. Take your time, research before you use them, do everything the right way, and you'll have a really good experience with mech mods. Now, one of the misconceptions about these batteries is that you put them in a mech mod, you get a hard short, it's just going to instantly blow up like a pipe bomb. But that is not the case. The battery has to go through a lot of things before it goes into thermal runaway, which is what causes it to vent and release gases and smoke. And to make it blow up, you've got to contain them gases and pressurise the smoke and the gases, which will cause an explosion. But a lot of the mech mods these days, and a lot of mods, have got adequate venting to prevent this. Now, don't get me wrong, over the years I've had a couple of hard short issues with batteries, but because of my quick thinking and my reaction times, I've managed to save them. The first thing you notice when you've got an hard short on a battery is it gets hot. Extremely hot. Now, this is the first case before it even thinks about going into a thermal runaway. You're going to get excessive heat off your battery, which you're going to notice, especially in a mech mod. You're going to feel heat through the metal body of the mech mod, and in my case, I instantly whip the batteries out and save them. As soon as I removed the battery from the hard short issue, everything went back to normal. The battery cooled down. It was still usable. There wasn't no signs of damage to the battery. It was still charging fine. It was still working fine. The main part of the safety with these batteries is knowing what to look for when things are going wrong. If you can get that in the bag, then you're pretty much on your way to having a very nice user experience with mech mods. And that's it, guys. Now the last thing I want to show you is how to rewrap one. Now I have this 2700 I want to rewrap. This is the battery without the wrapper on it. As you can see, the insulator at the top. This one is actually sealed to the battery, but these normally fall off when you take the wrapper off. So make sure you put it back before you insert it into the wrapper. Now this is a pre-cut 2700 wrap I purchased off eBay. I think I got a pack of 10 for around 4 or 5 quid, something like that. So all you do with this is you open it up, get your finger inside, like so. So it forms like a tube, and then you get your battery and pop it in, push it in all the way, and try and line it up from the top and the bottom so you get the same amount of wrap on each side. What you do is you get an airdryer. This is my daughter's airdryer I've pinched off her, and I need to put it back pretty quick sharp before she finds out, otherwise I'll be in for the eye jump. And all you do is you put it on. Like so. And that's not totally done because I'm struggling to do it on camera, but you get the gist of it. You just keep working the airdryer over it until it all shrinks and seals to the battery, and then you've got a nice freshly wrapped battery. As simple as that. So that's it, guys. I hope this little explanation of batteries helps somebody out there. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is to try and help some of the newbies get used to and get to understand some of the aspects of vaping, which can be quite confusing. So I'll catch you on the next one, and remember, smoking kills, choose life. Thanks for watching, guys.